Greetings, new hammer, middle hammer, and old hammer folks alike. I am Old Grumpy Wolf, aka Lennon Midnight, and welcome to the Minibar Podcast. I'll be serving you up lots of awesome painting nerdiness, talking to other painters from the web. Tonight at the bar, we have with us Eat.My.Paints, aka Schlevin, aka Danny. So how you doing, Danny?
What's up, brother?
So whereabouts are you in the U.S.?
I'm in Culver City, Los Angeles right now.
Oh, cool. You're West Coast with me.
LA native. Yeah.
You're born and raised there?
Yeah, around LA County, pretty much. I've
okay.
lived here, pretty much most of my life. I've done a little bit of traveling. Lived in Chile for a while. Lived in Virginia Beach for a while. But I've always got to come back home to LA, baby.
Yeah, last time I was out there, I was in playing a show in 2018 in Downey at the Stardust Club. I don't know if
hell yeah!
You ever been there?
No, I haven't. I've driven through Downey, but never stopped in Downey. It kind of looks like a parking lot.
I had some people before we played the show there. I had some people say like, "Oh, you got to watch out in Downey. It's a little ghetto out there. You just watch your wallet and stuff." The venue is like literally right across from some like brand new mall. So I'm like, I don't know what part of Downey you're talking about, but this is like yuppie Downey. It was fun. It was great going home. We left. We left the venue at like 2 a.m. Got back to Vegas at like 3:30.
Oh man.
I'm sorry. At 1, 2, 3, 4. So it'd be about 5:30.
Yep, that sounds about right.
There was no traffic.
I love about LA, always quick trips to Vegas, and I go to Vegas like twice a year because my grandparents and my auntie lives out there, so I'm always over in Vegas.
Did you come out for LVO?
I did not. I didn't even know it existed until a couple months ago.
Oh, okay. We're having a second one this year because the Rio has gotten where it used to be. The Rio's gotten weird about booking events, from what I've been told, and they had to find a new home for LVO. So there's another venue. You know where downtown is. Mm-hmm. The venue is called the World Market Center. It's like 5 minutes from like the Golden Nugget.
Oh, okay, cool.
So like a lot of people were complaining because Rio was great for. You go to LVO, you could book a room, stay upstairs, just come straight downstairs and go to LVO. Whereas like now it's like people are going to have to Uber from the hotel to the venue. But the venue is like, I guess like 3 times the size of what Rio was offering. And the new date for it is in October, which is kind of nice. But a lot of people got ticked off just because it screwed up their plans, and it's understandable. But at the same time, it's like, I live here in Vegas. We get 2 of them.
Rad.
So,
no, it's all right. Just get a room at Circus and just walk a mile or so sloshed out of your mind.
Oh, that's a totally different part. That's the Strip. That's not downtown.
If I remember, it's still pretty close, isn't it?
It's like, I don't know, like 5 or 10 minutes, like via an Uber or a taxi. But yeah, like literally, Golden Nugget is, and they're having LVO's got special room rates going for LVO weekend for people who want to stay at Golden Nugget. But Golden Nugget is like literally a 2-minute car ride from the venue from Golden Nugget to the venue.
For sure.
It's one straight shot and then a right turn, and then you're directly at World Market Center.
Excellent. Well, I'm just going to stay with my grandma and Uber anyways.
Oh, there you go. That's a good idea. No, if you want to kick it when you're out here, let me know. Shoot me a DM. We'll hook up and go grab a beer or something.
Absolutely, man.
Cool. So the first question of the show is, what got you into Warhammer, like the whole Warhammer hobby?
So I had never heard of Warhammer before the pandemic.
Okay.
And I collect toys. I collect like Transformers and Power Rangers and like G.I. Joes, and that was like largely my hobby. And I was looking for some cheap toys, and I came across the McFarlane Space Marines, and that was my introduction.
I want to paint one of those so bad.
I painted one. One of the first few things I painted one of those the like blank Dark Angels for my brother in like a scheme he made up. It was actually really fun. It was pretty rad. Yeah. But and then I started collecting the Joy Toy figures, and the first thing I ever painted was actually because I loved the Firstborn helmets with like the little grill on the face. I didn't really care much for the Primaris helmets, so I bought some 3D printed ones. I was like, all right, I guess I'll just commission someone to paint this for me. And then I was like, my foray into painting, my girlfriend wanted me to paint pumpkins with her for Halloween, and I was like, all right, whatever, let's paint some pumpkins. And I painted up like a little demonic Furby in the pumpkin. I was like, hey, this is actually pretty fun and not like fiddly and terrible, because like I've been familiar with miniatures, but I always thought it'd be so fiddly and annoying. And but I gave it a shot and it was really fun. And I painted up a helmet for one of those Joy Toy figures, and then I started emptying all of my disposable income into miniatures since then.
You get a paycheck and you just go walk into Warhammer. You're like, here's my paycheck. Give me everything.
Pretty much.
And so that's also what got you into painting, was just, picking up the oversized miniatures and doing them.
Yeah, because before I actually started like painting, I would like fix and customize toys.
Oh,
like
cool.
in some, like G.I. Joe figures. Like all I had really got was like the Tamiya panel liner, and I was straight up using nail polish. I had a random thing of like black and red nail polish, and just like put little dots of like stuff. I was like, this lens needs a little red dot on it, and like doing little things like that. So just embellishing my action figures, and then so it's like largely like the kit bashing side of the hobby, and the painting is like what really, really like sparks my imagination. It's my favorite part. Like I played one game. I don't care about gaming too much, even though I'm fairly interested.
So since you while we're on the subject, just so since you got into painting and stuff, are you like me where you go into like toy stores and stuff like that, and you see like the big scale, the big pre-painted, like let's say Spider-Man or Wolverine, and you look at it, you're like, I'm not spending $300 for that paint job.
No, now I look at it and my hubris, I'm like, I could do better. I could do that.
I'm like, I'll buy it for $150 if you can get me one that's not painted, because I'm going to go back and repaint it, because that's bad. Everything's all flat color. Like, you see like Wolverine, like his stripes on his uniform, all the paint's all blobbed over. It's like, who painted this? I'm not paying $400 for that.
No, I see the world differently now. Like I'll see like whether it's a little statue or a figure or an action figure or something, and I'm just like, the color scheme could have been a little better with that. It's like, you probably could have done a little tweak there. Like there's no definition. It's just it's so bland.
Well, we were before the show started. Danny and I were talking about painting busts, since I'm working on that Tau thing still. A good thing for you, what you might want to do is like go grab some old action figures, prime them, and repaint them.
Yeah, I've been thinking about doing that because I had also bought one of the Adeptas Sororitas, one of the Battle Sisters McFarlane figure, and that thing just needs some love, man.
I definitely I so want one of those. Like the Sisters of Battle and the Space Wolves are like my two favorite factions. I don't really have a favorite chapter of Sisters of Battle because I think they all look really cool, like all the color schemes. But ever since I've seen the McFarlane Primaris Marine and then the Sisters of Battle, I was like, I want both of those. I'm gonna curse myself.
Yep. No, I even before I even started painting, I bought one of the Chaos Marines from McFarlane.
Oh, they make a Chaos Marine?
Yeah, there's a few now. They have one, I think it was I forget the name, but the one that's just like mostly black and gold, and they just recently came out with a Khorne Berserker.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was just painting with a gold Sharpie, just adding some embellishments. But I actually came across a new trick. So with that Battle Sister, what I'm going to do, instead of using like a colored opaque primer, a matte varnish, a transparent matte varnish works really well as a primer to paint on top of.
Well, yeah, matte is the way matte functions is like matte is very porous. So even if it's a clear coat, it'll still take paint really easily.
Yeah. I've been because I have one laying around. I've been using it to prime some of my minis. I was like, oh, this would be perfect. Just that way, I don't have to like repaint the entire thing. I can just give it a couple coats of the matte varnish and start painting on top of it. Yeah.
No, I picked up a bottle of I haven't gotten to use it yet. I picked up a bottle of Pro Acryl matte varnish at LVO this year because I really wanted to try it out. But right now I'm kind of trying to kill off a lot of my Citadel's Munitorum varnish. Because I have like 3 bottles of it. So yeah. Well, you kind of answered the next question. The next question is, did you get into the hobby because of gaming or painting?
Oh, definitely painting. Like I said, like kit bashing, like making my own stuff. It's been so much fun. Like an example, like Trench Crusade, that just like really sparked my imagination. I love that.
Dude, I want to paint some of those so bad.
Oh man, like being miniatures agnostic. So I've just been like mashing together my own stuff, and it's been so much fun. Like where they're going with that whole idea. I was like, oh man, I realized I had so much like kit bash fodder just because I'm like random toys I have laying around. Like one of the things I love to collect are like knockoff toys. So I just have a bunch of like cheap plastic laying around, and I'm just like now just breathing new life into these little guys.
Speaking
doing
of,
whatever I want with them.
did you ever watch Stephen He?
No.
He does this character called Steven's dad, and he talks like a Chinese dude, and it's like Stephen He's the guy who came up with the whole emotional damage.
Oh yeah, that guy.
So that's his dad, and his dad, like, he does these skits with his dad where his dad goes to like to different like discount stores and asking for stuff. Like he goes to the video store and he's like, do you have Finding Nemo? And it says like Finding like Emo or something like that. But he goes to a toy store and it's all these like cheap Chinese toys, and it's like Spider-Man, but it's like Insectoid Man and stuff.
Boy.
Yeah. It's funnier than hell.
It's so funny reading the names for all the like knockoff Transformers, like Deformation Soldier.
So you mentioned you've only played once or twice?
Yeah, I played one game. It's Flames of Orion. So a little shout out to I guess another podcast. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. Hive Scum. Steve created this game called Flames of Orion. It's like a battle mech game.
Oh, okay.
And he talks about it on the podcast a lot because he created it himself. And I was like, oh, okay, like I'll give it a shot. He made it. He like designed the game to be kind of pretty easy to learn for like people who are new to gaming and stuff. And so I played it with my brother because I had made a ton of little mechs, and so I played it with my brother, and it was actually pretty fun. Because I don't know, I've never been like a rules guy. Like the idea of having to read a book for a game just kind of makes me want to throw up.
Yeah, it's I've played two games of 40K my entire life. I played the crap out of Space Hulk. I really like Blood Bowl, but 40K, dude, somebody starts talking to me about the rules and like playing the game, I'm just like gloss over.
My soul leaves my body.
But I found like with gamers, it's kind of reverse, that like you start talking to them about painting stuff, especially more advanced stuff, they get the same look. They're like,
yeah, right.
You know, it was kind of sad going to LVO just hearing about how many people like hated painting that were playing there, and it was just kind of heartbreaking. It's like, but this painting your own stuff, that's like a chance like to make it you, and it's cool. And oh no, I just hate painting. Okay.
No, that's so funny. No, also just the thought of having to paint up like more than like a handful of miniatures in the exact same color scheme, that just sounds torturous to me. So like I can empathize with that, but also like I'm doing it for the painting. So yeah, why would I want to repaint the same mini 100 times?
I'm batch painting the rest. I'm batch painting the rest of my Blood Angel Beaky squad right now. I got 3 of them I'm batch painting, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I forgot how much I hate batch painting. Where was my brain at? Talking about Trench Crusade, dude. The demon models in that game. Oh my god, those things are cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they look so evil and demonic looking, and it's such a. There's like, you can kind of see some influence, like kind of like the Nurgle Pestilence influence in some of it, but
yeah, that one factor. Mm-hmm.
It's just so different than what Games Workshop is doing. And Louise on Rogue Hobbies, she did a whole episode on Trench Crusade where she was showing off all the models, and like the normal human models don't really pique my interest all that much. But once she started showing the demons, I was like, those are freaking cool. I want those.
No, I don't know if you saw that. They were just talking about it on Luis's podcast, Jugs.
Yeah.
We were just talking to Tomas Piernan, I believe his name is. And
I think that was last week's episode, wasn't it?
Yeah, one of the last ones.
Yeah.
I forget the name of the guy who's like one of like the creative designers. How like his references, how gross his references are for like designing those models.
Oh, I think I remember that. He was talking about like
I'm here for it, man.
He was like sitting around at lunch, like looking up pictures of like festering wounds and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. Oh, there's something
of, like surgery and stuff. No, like the model I was just making, it's like a mutated heart, so I'm having to constantly reference like Google like real human heart.
Yeah.
To try and get right.
Oh, that's gotta be fun to look at on your lunch break while you're sitting there ramming down a sandwich. You're like,
no, No, I still need to get my hands on some Uhu glue to try and get those like stringy, dangly bits.
Oh yeah, I've never actually looked into what people use for that stuff.
No, so from what I know, the Uhu glue, like once it starts to set a little bit, you can like kind of because it's transparent, so you can kind of like once it's starting to dry a little bit, you can kind of like dangle it from one piece and like stretch it out to like another part, and it'll dry and harden just like that. So it'll look like something's like oozing or like a big piece of whatever is like stuck to something else. It's a really, really neat effect.
You can actually you can mix like you can mix paint into it, can't you, to get it colored?
You can either paint over it with a transparent paint or mix it with like Blood for the Blood God or some kind of like blood effect, and yeah, it works too.
Okay, cool. So we'll move into the third one here. One of my favorite questions to ask is, what kind of paints do you use to paint your minis with?
I've lately been pretty loyal to Army Painter War Paint Fanatics.
Okay.
Because I really like the mixing balls. And I mean I just got really stoked when they had their whole campaign when they're releasing the new Fanatic line. And the fact that like they actually have the names of the actual colors, not just like oozing vomit.
Yeah, they have the reference names on the sides.
Like random names for stuff. Like the actual names of the paint. They are really good paints. I've also I have a little Vallejo, a little AK, and but largely War Paint Fanatics.
Okay.
They thin really well. They're largely consistent in terms of like how they. Like out of the bottle. Some of like the lighter, like the skin colors are a lot thicker, but for the most part, everything's like each paint kind of works the same.
Yeah.
Nice and opaque. And the little color triads work really well too. Like I was just using the like turquoise triad to paint a little like a cat eye, like a bluish, like tealish cat eye. Works really well. Yeah, I freaking love them.
Yeah, I only have a handful of their colors. I use their blue grays a lot for my Space Wolves. And
that's like perfect for Space Wolves.
Yeah, I'll use I forgot the name. It's like a mid blue gray, which used to be called blue gray, and then became shadow gray under Citadel's old line, and then Arctic Frost, which is a perfect recreation of the old Citadel Space Wolves gray. Nice. Yeah, Space Wolves gray, and then I'll like mix them together as I'm highlighting to create the nice gradient effect, and then I'll bring everything up with Pro Acryl Titanium White to the final highlight.
Nice.
And but yeah, I got to mess around with more of their paints at LVO, and I was really impressed with a lot of like I was only using like 5 or 6 of their paints. I was actually trying for the first time, not accidentally, to do actually non-metallic metallics. They had like some kind of night figure sitting on the table that somebody had started painting, so I just painted over it, and I used like I think I had like a white, a black, a gray, a blue, and then like a kind of like a dirtier, like an olive green I was mixing in to offset the metallic a little bit. But no, I was really impressed with it. I really liked how their paints worked. A good buddy of mine, I'm bringing him on the show eventually. He lives out in Colorado. His name's RJ. He's huge on using Army Painter stuff, so it'll be fun to talk to him about that. But yeah, they're actually really good paints, and like for glazing, they work insanely well. Like I like how much pigment's in them. I'm actually my gal.
The whole thing that they're like very highly pigmented because I've seen so many videos on YouTube like comparing their old paints to the new paints, and like their old paints are like almost all of them are pretty transparent, like very little opacity. But now, no, like the new ones are fantastic, and I'm just getting into like trying to glaze and things like that because at first I was like pretty terrible at glazing, and like I'm still pretty terrible at like blending on a figure. I, for the most part, just kind of avoid it entirely. But now I'm getting into like glazing, and they glaze really well if I just want to get like a nice little shade on something or a nice little transition. It's starting to work pretty well with their paints. Yeah,
it's about like a lot. I was teaching somebody on Monday night at my local shop, War Room. I was teaching somebody how like I do my style of painting because he was really curious. Like he's just starting out, and he was like, "Oh my god, how do you do those gradients? Like how do you do that fine edge highlighting and stuff?" So I gave him a really quick run through on one of my Mark 6 beaky armor, one of the RTB01 sneaky beakies, and I was kind of paying attention more to what I was doing so I could explain it better. But a lot of it's just water and like literally how you load your brush with the paint.
Yeah.
Because
No,
like,
that's a great point because at first, like, not just my brush control, but like how much paint was on my brush had a huge effect
yeah.
on like how things would work out. So I'm now getting better. I'm like maybe like kind of after I load the brush a little bit, maybe get a little bit of the excess off, and then work with it just for like a few strokes, and then maybe kind of wash it, reload it, make sure it just has the right amount. Still working out the kinks, but getting a little better every day.
Have you learned how to wick yet?
With my mouth?
No, with your brush, how to actually wick the paint or like wick the brush coming out of the paint. So what it is
I usually give it like a little twist, and then I'll kind of like drag the tip lightly on like a paper towel or on my thumb.
Oh, you're working on a wet palette?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had as I say every episode, like I use a piece of glass that I've had for like 20 years, and there's just like mounds of paint built up on it. But like it's technically like a hybrid wet palette because I keep a lot of water mixed with the paint or near the paint, so I can drag the water in to dilute it to what I need. But it drove me nuts using a wet palette because I couldn't wick the brush on the wet palette, and I'm like, I don't want to go onto another piece of substrate just to wick my damn brush. I give up. I'm just going to use my friggin' my dry palette that I've been using forever. But yeah, the wicking the brush part is important because you have to like Citadel small layer brushes. If you get too much paint loaded into the bulb of it, it'll actually split the tip open.
Yeah.
And
I have like one Citadel brush, and that like happens like every time I use it as like a base cutting brush because I kind of just load it up and it just like splays out. I was like, all right, you're covering a lot right now.
So like with a small detail brush, like or the small layer brush, even if like on other brushes like other brands, if like you have a fine detail brush and you've got it loaded with paint, if the tip splits open, it means you have too much paint in the bulb. Mm-hmm. So and that's where wicking comes into play. Is you actually you wick the paint out and you get enough in the bulb where it's loaded, but it doesn't break the tip of the brush.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was noticing highlighting for that beaky, I was really noticing like the how much I thinned the paint, like how it ran off the brush to better actually explain what I was doing. I was like, oh, I've never actually noticed I do this before. I was like, okay, there's something new I can explain to people.
There you go. No, you're still a madman for using a dry/wet palette. I literally just have a plate with a paper towel and a piece of parchment paper, and I just use that. I actually learned that if you just use a regular piece of, because there's like kind of two parchment papers. There's one that's kind of brown that is a bit more porous, and then there's the one it's not covered in wax, but it has like a kind of a glossy.
Yeah, it's waxy.
It's more waxy. Yeah, it seems more waxy. If you like put some like boiling water on it, it makes it a bit more porous. Oh, so it's a little easier. To work with. Yeah, it makes it a little more porous. It'll work with. I'm not sure if it would probably wick paint off as well, but for the most part, like I'll use it. I'll make like a few little lines right next to my little puddle of paint, and make sure I have the right amount on there, and just get going from there. No, I love the wet palette. I absolutely love it. Yeah, it
seems like a lot of like the wet palette was something in my absence of like the 12-year gap. Wet palettes became like kind of a standard thing with like most painters who came into things like that. I do know there's like some old school painters that are utilizing them. I've just gotten so used to my dry palette that using something else was just strange to me. So it's like
You also paint really slow. So when I first started, I didn't use a wet palette. I was just kind of using I was just like on a plate, and like the paint would dry so fast it would completely dry. Yeah. By the time I've already barely gotten anything done because I was painting so slow. So the wet palette really comes in handy if you're kind of a slow painter.
Oh, I found like when you when you put your colors like on the dry palette, especially like in summer, you're in LA, I'm in Vegas. It's kind of the same. We get a bit hotter than you, but like. I'll load my brush up with water and then put a droplet of water directly in the middle of the drop of paint.
Oh, nice.
And it creates the same kind of effect as the wet palette because you have like a big drop of water dead center of that thing. And if it starts to dry, it just pulls from that water, like outward and keeps it fresh. So the funny, my wet palette, I just built out of a piece of Tupperware and a sponge.
There you go. That'll do it.
Yeah, it worked. I tried it with the Space Wolf Terminator down in the right-hand corner. I was having trouble using Citadel paint with him, so I'm like, oh, maybe I need to try a wet palette. and tried it and figured out it wasn't the wet palette that was the issue. It was the paints I was using. That's actually when I started using Pro Acryl, was because of that model. So
no, also like some Vallejo paints don't work super well on a wet palette because they kind of split on the wet palette.
Oh, they separate?
Yeah, they kind of separates.
Yeah, Citadel paints are notorious for that too.
Sure.
But yeah, like there's one, there's like 2 or 3 colors I have that like to separate, but I mean, you mix them back up and they're fine.
Yeah.
Supposedly,
it's also nice on the wet palette. Sorry, on the wet palette, you can, if your paint dries a little bit, you can reactivate it like that. If it looks a little dry, you just kind of smush it around a little bit and it's good to go again. Yeah,
supposedly with the new Vallejo coming out, the new model color, it's the same formula as their game color. I guess their game color was slightly different to their old model color, but I guess they've in the new model color and the new game color, they've actually fixed the separation issues. From what I was listening, I think Stolly, I think his name is, he did an in-depth review.
He did great reviews,
and I think he mentioned that they were reworking the formula so it stopped separating.
Have you had this issue with some of my Vallejo model color, like some of the older model color Vallejo paints? They bubble a lot, and the bubbles, like, they don't go away.
Yeah,
like,
that was actually one thing that Stolly talked about in the new model colors. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. Supposedly they fixed it, but
hope so.
I don't know. I don't know. I've gradually been like working their paints out of my selection. I only have like for my Blood Angel Terminators specifically, I have to use Vallejo color because that's what I started painting them with. So I have to do my original style of Blood Angels plus using Vallejo to finish that squad with. Whereas like the stuff I'm doing now with like my tutorial and Blood Angels, I'm using primarily Pro Acryl. I'll use some Vallejo, like the black for black lining, but it's a big mishmash. But it's not like Vallejo is the main red and the main orange anymore. So, and the next question would be on the same topic is there 1 or 2 brands of paint that you really, really like out of all of what you use?
Oh, definitely. Obviously, yeah, the Warpaints Fanatic and AK, the 3rd gen. It's a bit of a learning curve because they kind of work a little differently. It's almost as if I feel like the AK is almost a bit more like gel-like in a way, just like the viscosity is a bit different. So it was a slight learning curve, but once I got it down, it was great. Like, for example, just like the regular, like the standard yellow for Warpaint Fanatic versus like the deep yellow for AK. Like the deep yellow for AK is like just worlds better. It's a lot more vibrant, deep yellow. Like they're fantastic paints, and some of their metallics are actually really good too. I was looking for like a substitute for Lead Belcher because I wanted like kind of a darker, more like gunmetal metallic. And Warpaint Fanatics, their metallics, I like them to be a bit thinner. And AK 3rd gen, their metallics, the darker metallic is fantastic.
It's funny that you mentioned gunmetal or like Lead Belcher. You want a gunmetal color. In the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd generation Citadel paints, the base coat was called Bolt Gunmetal. Yeah. Yep. So it wasn't until the current line where they changed it to Lead Belcher. Well, Lead Belcher's that's a base paint, isn't it?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yes, it is. I got one on my desk. Yes, it is.
Yeah, those things get pissy with water.
Yeah, it's a great color, but as far as metallics go, they're just I like them to be nice and thin, or else they I don't know.
Oh, I watered when I transferred all my Citadel paints to Army Painter droplet bottles. Oh, I watered the hell out of mine. Watered it down like crazy. It tends to work better, but I found that like once they start drying, they go from wet to dry. That's it. There's no interim. It's wet, dry, boom, done. Yeah, the AK paints, I found, just a piece of advice. The AK paints, they love water.
Yeah.
Like you gotta, like, to use them the right way, you gotta get them super thin in water, but they still have a ton of pigment in them. And the neat thing is that you can actually reactivate them.
Do they?
Yeah, like for blending, you can actually, like, if within, I want to say like a minute or 2 of them drying, you can actually reactivate them and like grade 8 them out, or like start wet blending them.
Nice. Oh, yeah. I haven't tried. Yeah, wet blending. I've tried wet blending like 2 times. Like the first time I tried it was on like a huge horn on like this older style model, and and from transition from red to black. And oh man, that was hard, but it ended up looking pretty good. But that was pretty damn hard to get right.
I figured the reactivation thing out, painting those two busts up. Because I was using a lot of AK stuff with like a lot of AK black to like create shadows and blend down, and I figured out, I was like, oh, this reactive, oh hell yeah, this is great.
Nice.
So
do you ever use like a paint retarder to like help with if you're doing any wet blending?
Do you mean water?
You just work fast?
No, I just use water. I never got into using the all the paint additive stuff that you can get now, like that's how much I appreciate it. The Citadel. I forgot what it's called. It's like an acrylic medium that they sell. You can mix in with the paints. Like they have like a contrast medium you can mix in. I just use water. Some people swear.
One day I'll be quick enough.
Yeah, it's you just have to. I don't know. You kind of have to like know exactly where you're going in your head. Like as far as like what colors you're going to mix together to blend, and just start laying it down, getting a lot of water in it, laying it down, and then get your next color and kind of mix it together on your palette, lay it down right next to it, and go. Yeah. So yeah, it's just getting familiar with what you want to do.
Yeah, no, for the most part, like for example, with like just like from black to red. So I obviously like on my palette laid down the red, the black. I mixed both of them together in equal parts, and I did 2 little extra batches that were kind of like a 1/4 and like then 3/4, and tried going with that. But oh my god, like switching from like each color to like wetting my brush and grabbing the next color, like it's already dry. I'm like, oh poo, what am I doing?
Well, if you're going from black to red, that's actually such an easy color combination to do, because red is such a thin pigment. That you can, like, let's say you're just doing a piece of cloth. You can just base coat it in black, and then mix, like, I'm going to say, like, mix yourself up like 75% black and 25% red. Get a bunch of water in that. Start tracing out where you want to do the highlights at, get the cloth covered. And then mix in, like, make another batch of like 25% black and 75% red, thin that down, start applying your highlights in like a glaze consistency. Just keep building up with that. And then like the last couple of coats, just do pure red, because red is so thin that like it'll just glaze naturally. It's such an easy color to work with, going from red to black. It's so much fun.
No, that's absolutely true. That's why I kind of gravitated more towards glazing. So I was like, okay, like I can just do like a little layer by layer, and then I'm getting the hang of, like, with my brush control, like making sure like where my brush kind of ends up, it'll deposit a little bit more paint. So make sure, like, get familiar with the direction that I'm going and things like that.
And I'm assuming that you figured out that like paints, when you get them wet, or like when they come out of the pot and when they're wet, they go on brighter than they actually dry.
Yes.
Yeah, it took me a little while to figure that out, getting back into it, and it's a behavior that I think is very interesting. And like, there's sometimes where I apply a paint, I'm like, it's too bright. Once it dries, it's perfectly fine. It just actually blends the way it's supposed to. It calms down. It's like,
didn't I just highlight that? Didn't highlight that again?
Okay, so with all that aside, you actually mentioned earlier that you're kind of into kit bashing and you like to do custom stuff. Is that just with Warhammer minis, or do you actually do other things with it as well?
So, kind of whatever sparks my interest. So, like, I'm a huge fan of, you may be familiar with this term, tokusatsu. So, like, essentially, like, Japanese, like, a lot of, like, Japanese pop culture, like, giant robots, like, things like Godzilla, Megazords, Power Rangers, all that kind of stuff. So,
and who was the best Power Ranger?
The Blue Ranger, obviously.
Dude, it was Tommy the Green Ranger. Come on.
It's funny. I'm currently in the middle of a line of Power Ranger inspired Space Marines, and
nice.
I already have the Green Ranger all primed up. I'm on the Black Ranger now, and the Green Ranger's next. I've done the white, the blue, and the red Ranger. So far.
I saw the White Ranger in your feed. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So you were talking about the Japanese term.
Yep. Yeah. Tokusatsu. Yeah. Just like giant super robots. So I kind of see things through like that lens as far as like whatever I'm going to kit bash or what I make. I'm just going with, whatever is kind of feeding me at that moment, whatever I'm interested in that moment. I used to build Gundam model kits. And
I was going to ask if you did Gunpla.
Yeah. Did a little Gunpla. And there's just a plethora of like '80s like old like robot model kits that are like dirt cheap and are absolutely gorgeous. Like I painted one. I'm not sure if you ever heard of Votoms. Like I painted one of those guys up. It's just
I know what Voltron is.
No, Votoms. It's just these like battle robots, and they're super rad. I painted one of those up, and like the opportunity, like kit bashing with them. Like an example of an idea, I want to get one of these like old robots and make it look like he just has some kind of mutated growth coming out of it.
Oh, nice.
Like something almost like it could be something out of Warhammer, just like mixing some like something like super,
pray to Grandfather Nurgle.
Yeah, exactly. Coming out of like this huge like mech or Gundam or something like that. I love stuff like that. Yeah, and any kind of like soldier that is like fully armored, huge fan of. But also like the demonic stuff. Like for example from
just while
Crusade.
We're right smack dab in it, did you watch the midwinter minis series, like videos that he's been doing about like that giant this big friggin'
love the
great unclean
minis.
one?
Yeah, giant great unclean one, the Titan sized one.
Oh,
insane.
That thing's nuts.
Yep. No, I love all that stuff. Yeah, when it comes to like my own miniatures and kit bashing, I'm just going with what I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So I don't just pull from Warhammer. Like for example, another company, EM4 Miniatures, which are actually extremely affordable. They have a whole bunch of metal miniatures, plastic miniatures that are absolutely gorgeous, really cheap, really fun to paint up. And I'll mash like a Warhammer with like a random miniature line. Like oh man, I have all kinds of stuff. I even have like the little like little minifigures you can buy from like those candy machines. I forget what it's called. There's a term for it. But yeah, from whatever, like old toys, just throw whatever. The little heart abomination thing I'm making for my buddy who's D&D one shot. I made most of that of garbage, even just junk.
Oh, you missed out like one of the best eras of 40K, like when Rogue Trader was in full swing, and even kind of going into second edition. They didn't have a lot of vehicles out back then, so like in White Dwarf and stuff, they would actually publish like
deodorant one,
like how to build. Yeah, the deodorant one. There was like some kind of like Imperial Warwalker that they literally made from an Imperial AT-AT or AT-ST
No way.
from Star Wars. Yeah, like the legs are actually from a Star Wars model kit.
Oh, that's awesome.
And yeah, I mean, the lack of vehicles. They just went nuts with, kit bashing and creating like custom vehicles, and like people just going nuts with using like World War II like weapons, or just like sci-fi weapons on Space Marines and Imperial Guard and orcs and stuff. It was nuts back then. And it sounds like it would have been right up your alley.
Oh no, I'm all about it. I just like making my own stuff, man. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's actually really cool. My guest on episode 3, he you'll see when it comes out. He's my buddy Chris. He's the Dork Depot. He has a Space Wolf army, and he kit bashes like every single model in his Space Wolf army. Like not a single model is straight out of the box. Like he'll add little bits here and there, or he'll do like full on conversions, or it's just his army. To look at it in person is just absolutely crazy. Just the amount of work that he puts into his kit bashing. And I mean, I think you guys would be like BFF. No, if you come out to Vegas for LVO in October, I'll introduce you to Chris. He'll be wandering around the show, and like him and I usually hang out for a bit. And I mean, you guys can nerd out, kit bash, talk each other. But
oh hell yeah,
yeah, I think you'd really dig his models. He's just such a super cool guy, and just the creativity that he comes up with for what he does is absolutely insane. It's along the line of yours. And I was looking at your Instagram feed before we got on the call with one another. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool kit bash stuff in there that you do that I actually want to bring up. A lot of it's, I mean, just the uniqueness of what you do. I haven't really seen anybody else do. Just the sheer level of imagination in it.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
So, all right. So kit bashing, with your painting style, who influenced your painting style?
It's funny. Have you ever heard of the term toyetic? So
nope.
It's a term that essentially means like making something look like it would make a cool toy. It's a term that kind of floated around with so a lot of like 80s cartoons and stuff were largely marketed to children, but it was like usually like there'd be a show and there'd be like a toy to come with it.
Oh yeah, that's where the Ninja Turtles came from.
Yes, so they wanted the show to like be toyetic, and the toys like they float this term around. But for me, like something being toyetic means it just has like bombastic colors that like really pop. And when I came across like the old like Warhammer miniatures, I'm like, they just have such a toyetic vibe with like the vibrant primary colors.
Yeah.
Like you look at Power Rangers, you just a bunch of dudes in primary colors, and they look amazing. Yeah. And so like that's what made me really fall in love with the old style like Warhammer miniatures, not just the poses and like the more stoic poses, but the color schemes of just using like these primary colors and just really making them super vibrant. I love that so much. And so I bring that a lot into some of the things that I paint. Like, for example, from getting the modern Warhammer kits and trying to sculpt them to be more like the old style, and then painting them up in that old Grim Bright style. Oh, absolutely love it. Grim Bright.
The funny enough, if you're talking about like Rogue Trader, well, like second edition era miniatures, as far as like how bright and vibrant they were, that whole thing was done because of print media back then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I heard. I don't know if you mentioned it, but yeah, I had just heard that the big reason they did it is because the print quality of the magazines was good enough. So,
so like in the Rogue Trader era, like there was never one set. Like they didn't really have a style guide for a lot of this stuff. So like the Blood Angels, the Space Wolves, like all the Marines, just basically all the models. Let's just say like Blood Angels, for example. So you'd have like one guy, one heavy metal painter painting up a squad of Terminators, and then you'd have another heavy metal painter painting up a tactical squad. You'd have another heavy metal painter like painting up a close combat squad, and then you have another guy painting up like the character models. So nothing was coherent. Everything was like, it was just different painting styles. There was no style guide. And I think they were experimenting as they were going along, because like the time frame of Rogue Trader, toward the end of it, they started really getting toward the bright and bright colors and vibrancy of colors that they went into in second edition. And then when second edition came along, that was my understanding was the first corporate buyout, but it was like all the heavy metal painters except for McVeigh and Tim Prow were fired, and Prow painted just like McVeigh because McVeigh took him under his wing. But that was when really they sat down, came up with a style guide, and they spent like 6 to 9 months working on making the every miniature, not just Space Marines, but making all the miniatures really vibrant and easy to identify. Like if they were doing battle reports and taking pictures of the battlefield, you could tell, like all the Blood Angels look the same. All the Orcs, Bad Moons, Freebooters, Goths, they all look the same. And it was really easy to pick out, especially, if you got a picture, hypothetically, this big and White Dwarf, you can see both armies on both sides taken from, a zoomed out view. You could tell exactly what was what. It wasn't like a squad of Blood Angels was painted dark red, while this squad over here was a really bright red, where you could tell they were insanely different. It was two different painters. So the whole thing, going back to the original point, the whole thing was McVeigh and Prow spent 6 to 9 months developing style guides and taking photos, sending them to the photo mat, getting them back, figuring out what worked correctly, and they finally, okay, for Blood Angels, you start with this is your intermediary, and this is your highlight color, and we want that through all the Blood Angels, and then here's all the Ultramarines, here's all the Goths. So due to limitations in print at the time, and also not having any cohesive style guides in Rogue Trader, we got second edition, we got the cartoony look, we got that nostalgic look that a lot of guys, including you, really enjoy. And
that's funny. It's funny how almost like when you're constrained, when creativity is constrained, it almost like it sometimes it works in your favor. Sometimes when you have limited options, you're able to be even more creative, and you can create something really wonderful out of it. I think that's super cool.
Well, I think you watched it, my Blood Angels painting tutorial. I think I only used like 12 to 14 paints for the whole thing. And just the primary colors of the armor is only 3 paints. So like I see guys like, the triad system, it's a great idea for people who are trying to get into painting and like want to learn, but you wind up with, you're painting a Space Marine. Hypothetically, the Ultramarines armor is 5 colors just for the armor, the stepping color system, and then you want to do the Aquila in yellow. It's I'm going old school. Yeah, I'm gonna say yellow. Screw it. You want to do the Aquila and the rims of the shoulder pads in yellow. So that's like another 4 colors just for the stepping system. And you get to the bolter if you want to do that in red, like the old school way. That's another 3 to 4 colors of red. You have your metallics. That's another 2 or 3 colors of metallics. So I mean, you're pushing 20 different colors right there.
Yep.
Whereas like overall in my Blood Angel, that was 12, 14 colors and just really simple. And you said, you limit yourself and you really have to push that creativity.
Yeah. Yeah. You have to experiment because I guess maybe for a lot of people, when you just kind of have an open world, it's kind of hard to pin down something. But when you're like, all right, you have this palette or you have these limited options, you're like, all right, I'll play with these.
Yeah.
It's funny. It just reminded me of something I used to love to do when I used to like muck around with Legos. That one of my favorite things to do was I would just grab a handful of Legos, plop it on a desk, and I'd be like, all right, I'll either make a spaceship out of only these parts or like, tell me something to make and I'll make it out of only these parts. And that was so much fun.
God, I haven't played with Legos in years. My old man was a shrink. And he after I outgrew my Lego phase, he ended up collecting all my Legos from my room, putting them in a tin, and actually bringing them down to his office. And like if one of his patients came and they had a kid, he would always invite the kid into the office during the session and give the kid the bucket of Legos. I mean the tin was
big boy.
2.5 feet tall and maybe 18 inches around. So I mean that thing had a lot of Legos in it. Yep. But the kid would play with Legos. And he was always fascinated with what the kid would come up with by the time the session was done with the parent.
Bet. No, it's funny. Going back to the first question, before I started painting, or like when I first got into Warhammer, I was like, the dreadnoughts were like some of the coolest things, the coolest idea I have ever heard of. I was like, oh my God, I love this thing. And I tried making a dreadnought out of Legos,
nice.
Largely Bionicle and Technic pieces. It's like a horrible abomination of a thing, but it slightly resembles a dreadnought. I've
seen people on Reddit actually do like Space Marines and like vehicles like dreadnoughts and stuff out of Legos, and it's always interesting to see what they come up with.
There's some beautiful ones. Yeah. This thing I made is not beautiful at all. It's kind of horrifying, but my heart was in it.
Yeah. As long as you had fun, that's all that matters. You should post a picture of it on your Instagram if you still have it built.
Oh, I might. Maybe I'll throw it in a story. Not good enough for a post.
Yeah, Legos are great. Like I'm amazed at like the advancement of Legos in like current times from like when we were kids. It's insane. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of documentaries I watched on like the Lego factory over. Is it Sweden that they're from?
It might be. Yeah, one of those Nordic countries.
Yeah, just wherever they're located. Just there was a documentary of the factory, like how they're made, all the like the fact that you can order individual parts. What's up?
Yeah, the system. No, like because I saw the documentary too, and they're always referencing the Lego system. Like they're very, very precise system of how everything fits together.
Oh yeah, please tell me you saw the Lego movie.
Oh, of course.
Oh, I went to see that when it came out in theaters. I was laughing so hard, but it was so neat to see like
the Craggle. Oh, I use Craggle all the time, baby.
Wild Style, are you a DJ? Why no? Why does everybody keep saying that? Yeah, you got Morgan Freeman.
Do you kit bash at all? Like
no, I convert stuff every now and then. I'm fairly decent with green stuff, but I never got into the kit bashing aspect. I just I clean up and then just dive in and paint.
Sure. No, because there's a trick with super glue that I've gotten to really appreciate is where you'll put, I'm sure you've heard of it, you'll put like a dab of super glue on something. Say you have two pieces of like a model that don't quite fit together. You just kind of put a dab of super glue and then put a bunch of baking soda on it. And it's almost like a super glue activator. And it's good for like gap filling, all kinds of different applications. It creates like this nice, like thick mass that's really great to work with.
There's a spray for that. It's actually called Instaset.
No, but the Instant Set it'll set the super glue, but the baking soda, it's to like kind of gap fill. It'll add texture. It'll fill it out. You can even put like a little blob of whatever of just some baking soda and put a little super glue in it, and you'll have like a little mound. Like for basing, it's amazing. For if you're maybe putting together something kind of grimdark that doesn't need to be super clean, and you want to like attach like an arm to a torso, super glue and baking soda it'll give this kind of very, because the grains of baking soda are very, very, very small, so it'll be pretty clean, and it'll give a little bit of texture. It's amazing to work with. You can make like anything out of anything. I'm pretty sure if you want to, you can just sculpt a model. It'll be kind of gross looking, but sculpt a full model out of just baking soda.
It'll be a little crunchy.
A little bit.
Just don't chew on it.
Why not? Am I not supposed to be doing that? I've been eating the cyanoacrylate glue a lot.
So, you said you mentioned earlier in the show that you'd gotten into painting during the pandemic. I've looked at your models and you're quite good. And one thing that I've been asking a lot of my guests is, what advice would you give painters just starting out to help them avoid the pitfalls that you've experienced?
Oh man, just keep doing it. Just keep painting. Just keep painting. It doesn't look right, just keep painting until it kind of starts to look how you want. It's like, I'm sure you know, like say if you are like, when you are a fairly experienced painter, there's always, it's kind of like a stage where your model's not quite looking right, or like the ugly stage or something like that. And then as you progress, it kind of comes together more. So you can kind of apply that to like the journey of painting. Just things may not come out how you like, but if you keep practicing, and if you enjoy it, you just keep practicing and keep doing it, and you will get better every single time you paint. No, I've been painting for 1.5 years.
Okay.
And pretty much almost exactly like a 1.5 years. And I've been painting like almost every single day. Like it's like I'm an addict. I cannot stop. I paint even when I was like working like a normal full-time job. Like I would try and squeeze in 2 hours before work just to whether kit bash or do a little painting before I got to work.
Oh, that's cool to hear your dedication to it.
Oh, not dedication. I cannot stop, man. I
cannot. Your addiction to it. How about that?
I'm a fiend.
Yeah, I paint usually like when doing this, starting the podcast and like having to get things done and edited. Like I release episodes every 2 weeks, so I got plenty of time. But right now I'm trying to build up like a buffer of episodes to where I can get down to just doing 2 episodes a month. And that's like, you know, those 2 episodes I record hypothetically, let's say in June, those won't get dropped until like September. Just so that way I've got like a nice buffer set there to where I can actually sit down and paint for, 8 to 10 hours a day. Because I'm trying to make this like my full-time gig. And
nice.
Like exactly what you said, sitting down painting every time you do, you grow your abilities with it. And
every single time you're putting paint on that brush and slapping on a model, you're getting a little better, baby.
And I've started getting more like commission interest from other people. And the way that I've always functioned is like with my product line that I make, that I'm my business I'm trying to sell. I've always been a huge stickler for, when the product goes out, like this needs to meet my expectations. Like when I'm prototyping something, when I'm getting it ready for molding, like I want to make sure it fits on the car correctly. It fits right. It fits without a lot of it. You're not struggling to get it on the car, because the end user, their opinion is what matters the most. Like you can hype your own products all you want, and if the product sucks, it just sucks. No matter what you say, it's just gonna suck. So, in my head, if bringing on for commission, I want to make sure like I'm gonna have my own quips and qualms about what I send the customer, because that's just learning. And like what you said, you sit down, you learn more and more. You always find better ways of doing things. But if somebody's paying me for it, I want them to be insanely happy when they open the box and pull their miniature out.
Sure.
And every single miniature I do, I don't care if it's like just a beaky marine or if I've spent a month painting like the Ulrich Slayer that I did. I always learn something from it, and that is just that is one of the best parts about painting. It's just you throw yourself into it, you really pay attention to what you do, and you grow naturally.
Yeah.
And it's just a lot of fun. And I mean, like 2 or 3 years, like for novice painters that are listening to the show, you know, like keep track of your old miniatures. Like don't strip them. Don't say they're garbage and throw them away. No, keep track of the first, I don't know, like years worth of miniatures you paint. Put them in a box, stick them in the closet. Don't look at them. And then like go back to them. If you stay in the painting game, if you stay in it and really work at it, go back and look at them after like 4 or 5 years. And you'd be like, whoa, that's.
Yeah, no, I love having like the first model, the first like Warhammer model I painted, and like the first thing I ever painted. Oh man, it's so cool to reference back to them. I made a post on my Instagram. I don't know if you saw, where 2 3D printed Joy Toy helmets. One was like the first thing I ever painted when I started painting, and one was at like the year mark. It was just like, for me at least, it's a whole world of difference between the two.
Yeah, well, as like an artist, it's actually healthy to hold on to that stuff and like look at your amount of growth in whatever medium you take up.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I have I'm staring at him right now. I have it displayed on my desk. The little dude that I painted. He's a little goofy, but I love him.
I forgot to mention it while we were talking about paints. One paint line you might want to try: 2 thin coats.
Oh, I hear great things. I love Duncan Rhodes. Oh man, his painting tutorials have like, oh man, I go to sleep watching his stuff. I love his painting tutorials. Yeah, 2 thin coats. Definitely want to give them a shot.
Yeah, they're really neat. Like
their metallics.
What's up?
Have you tried any of his metallics?
Yeah, I actually replaced. I don't know what they're called. The old colors for us old people. I replaced my mithril silver and my chainmail from Citadel with Duncan Rhodes 2 thin coats, mithril silver and chainmail, and I'm really impressed with how they work. They dry faster than the Citadel ones do, but yeah, they remind me almost identically of the original mithril silver and the original chainmail from Games Workshop. If from first, second, and third generation, I need to buy his whatever his gunmetal color is. I need to buy one of those too to get rid of the lead belcher that I have.
No, I've been hearing great things about it. I haven't bought one yet. I haven't worked with them yet. I'm curious. Are they like are they like really thick out of the bottle? Are they pretty thin? I'm sure the metallics.
They're a little thick out of the bottle. They're about the same consistency as like not an old Vallejo paint that's been sitting on the shelf, but like you get a new one. It's about the same consistency. They're a little bit thicker. I suggest adding a lot of water to them. But the cool thing is, like, I haven't found a single color that separates yet.
Nice.
Yeah. I used their, on that Psyker that I just finished, that Psyker bust. And I bought them specifically for the Titus that I painted as a Christmas present. But I have 2 of their darker reds that I just, like, I swear by now. They are just so great to work with. And I have they have a darker brown, or they have a brown that emulates Citadel's, whatever they paint their base rims with. And that works. That was the first color that I used from them. And after I got done using it, I was like, I really like these. I'm going to buy more. That's
funny. I feel like because the Warpaints Fanatic I feel like they have a pretty decent range, but like they're kind of lacking in like the variation of browns and like yellow ochres. I keep on having to mix my own. So having a line that has like some deep, like more variation in browns, grays, and like ochre colors and things like that, and like sepia colors, like, oh, I need more of that, man.
That's definitely, AK is definitely the go-to for that. Yeah. I mean, if you can find, excuse me, if you can find a shop near you that carries the entire like Vallejo model color line, you will find that their model color line is ridiculous with the amount of colors they have.
Oh, sweet.
But easier access. If you have somebody that carries all the AK stuff, they have a vast amount of browns. I ended up buying a bunch of Pro Acryl browns because I was trying to find like the original Snakebite leather, and I haven't been able to find it yet. I know the game store I like to go to, Lost Planet in the South Bay, like over near like Torrance, Redondo Beach area. They got a huge rack of AK paints. It's funny. That's how I discovered their metallics, because I was talking to the guy at my LGS. I was like, I need a lead belcher that isn't lead belcher. I need something better. Yeah.
And there was a guy at a table. He's like, oh, dude, try this. He squirted it on his hand. He's like, check this out, man. I was like, oh, sweet.
Dude, I do that. Like when I'm testing colors, like I just I turn the caps off and I like dab them on my hand right here. So if I'm looking for something specific, I'll walk out of the shop with like 8-9 different dabs on my skin.
I am a space marine. I'm a crayon eater.
Oh, I went into that in I think my last episode. My last episode about crayon eaters from Louise and because of Space Marine and the one she did. I'm like, my gal and I were watching it. We're like both like, that looks really good. My autistic brain is like, no, you're not going to do that. I'm like, yeah, but it still looks cool. And she pulled it off. Excellent. That was a good episode. I cannot believe that they came up with the crayon eaters.
No, that is too good. That is too good. Oh my God. Humans continue to surprise me with how, like, with their creativity. It's just
so actually, you know what? I'll actually ask a new question. Given your age, throughout history, like Games Workshop has released numerous video games. Do you have any particular favorite video games that Games Workshop has released, or have you played a lot of them?
Ooh, I played a handful. My favorite one is Bolt Gun. I've played.
Oh yes. Oh,
Bolt Gun's
absolutely.
So fun. I'm kind of terrible at video games, but oh man, Bolt Gun is so much fun.
Bolt Gun was amazing. I love that game so much. It was like the epitome of what being a space marine is.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I keep forgetting the names of the little like pestilent little dudes that like the small ones.
The Nurglings?
Yes, the Nurglings. Oh my God.
The sassy Nurgling is in Bolt Gun.
They're so hard to aim at.
Well, the sassy Nurgling's in Bolt Gun.
Is it?
Yeah.
I probably killed them like 100 times because it's a lot of the same enemies you kill.
If you're aware of what the sassy Nurgling is now, go back and replay it. They pop up a bunch.
I know the sassy Nurgling. I love that little dude.
Yeah, I didn't like when I got back into really started getting back into Warhammer after playing Bolt Gun and like watching Louise's video, like the sassy Nurgling is like her mascot. And I went back and started playing Bolt Gun again. I was like, oh, it's a sassy Nurgling. Did you?
Oh no! Anytime I see those little dudes, I'm just like, dang it! I gotta just get through this.
Oh, the easiest way to do it is just launch a grenade, like throw a grenade at them.
I actually just learned when you have a bunch of the little Nurglings, you can just charge and you just pummel through
really?
5 of them.
Yeah, that was one thing I never really used in the game was the whole charge thing.
Yeah.
Did you play Space Marine 2?
I haven't played. My brother has it. And I watched him play a little bit, but I don't know. I'm not very good at video games. I need to play like easy games. I tried for like a second, and I was pretty terrible. And I was like, I'll watch, but this game really isn't for me. I did. I tried playing. I think it's called Deathwing. It's essentially Space Hulk, the game. But man, it was really fun, but it was really, really hard.
I got so bored with Deathwing. I just stopped playing it. Like visually,
it's kind of the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, visually and like sound wise, it is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's like
just walking through
on.
Space Hulk. So cool.
Yeah, it's spot on to like what being on a Space Hulk should be, but just overall gameplay wise, I just got bored with it. It was just, like you just said, it's kind of the same thing over and over. And the fact you can't jump in the game, I'm like, am I playing Doom 1?
Oh yeah, I feel like if a Terminator jumped, it would just like fall through that next floor.
Well, like with Bolt Gun, you can jump with your Marine. I mean, you run and you just launch yourself. But
I love the mechanic where you can just hear every stomp. It's like it really makes you feel the whole walking refrigerator vibe. It's
well, actually, no, it wasn't the jumping aspect that killed it for me. It was the fact that like in Deathwing, you had a limited run meter. You can only run for like 5 seconds, and then you have to start walking again. I'm like, oh God, this is taking so long.
Yeah, no, there's some kind of function. I think it's where like you can't, like while you're reloading or something like that, while you have like a dozen gene stealers right in front of you, and you're trying to reload, and you just die if you try to reload while you.
I think you're talking about the when you call a teleport to go back to the ship.
No, it wasn't. And you're also limited on those. You only have like a handful of times you can do that, and I already ran out, so I keep on dying.
Yeah, I think I played a couple of hours of Deathwing, and like initially it was fun, but like the game just kind of like started falling on its face because it felt too simulator-ish. Whereas like Bolt Gun, it was made to be ridiculous. It was made as a boomer shooter. It was made to be ridiculous. You're meant to just wreck everything, and that's what made it fun.
Yep.
I remember reading some like
Absolute blast.
user input. People were like, "Oh, it looks like such a boomer shooter. It's all pixelated. This looks like crap. I don't want to play it." It's like that's the point.
That's the whole point, baby. I love it.
Oh yeah, I did you buy the you know they came out with an expansion pack for it.
Oh yeah. I think I didn't get it, but I know there's. I'm like stuck on like one of the very last levels because it's just a giant room with like 1,000 dudes, and I keep on starting with low health, and I just keep on dying immediately. So
is it? I think that's probably the last level where you have. It's like a boss rush.
It's something like that.
Or like a boss gauntlet.
I cannot get through it.
Yeah, it takes a while. You've really got to like stack up your ammo and then bring like all the smaller enemies to you, like get rid of them and then go after whichever boss is present in the room. I think the final boss that spawns is that chaos sorcerer that keeps tormenting you through the game.
Oh yeah.
And he takes a little while to kill because he keeps teleporting all over the room.
Bet no, but man, like switching through all like crazy guns and then like you like just now and like that. I think I forget if it's broken up into like 4 or like 3 parts. Whatever. I'm in like the last part, and now you have like the big freaking guns. I don't remember the names of them, but no. Oh my god.
Oh, the expansion pack. They added more guns.
Oh, sweet.
You can actually get the missile launcher.
Do they have like a combi bolter or something? Like they should do that, like a combi bolter plasma gun or something. Some combi guns.
Well, you can actually get the Space Marine missile launcher.
Oh no way!
Yep. It's fun.
I hope it's like I think it's like the Rogue Trader one where it looks.
No,
like
it's not
like
the triangular one. It's the modern version.
Fourth of like a thing. You know what I'm talking about? That rad looking old one.
Yeah, I'm not. They don't. It's not the Rogue Trader one. I think the Rogue Trader. I think the Rogue Trader missile launcher was the coolest one they ever made. It just looked the part.
Yeah. That thing is so cool. No, funny, something I'm actually trying to do, going back to kitbashing. So I have a bunch of these, the Horus Heresy kits. What I want to do is, one thing I already did with one of the Beakies is I had one of them in a pose that's reminiscent of this, a second edition, like, I think, Captain, where he has, like, he's pointing his gun and has his sword out. What I want to do with some of them now is get them in some of the old Rogue Trader poses where they're kind of like squatting and have those kind of unique poses. I want to try and kitbash some of my Heresy Marines.
No, wait.
Into
they're not squatting. They're throwing it back.
I need some of my boys to throw it back, man.
every time my gal picks up one of my RTB01 Beakies, she's like, "Man, he'd be throwing it back." I'm like, "Yup."
100%. That's exactly what I'm trying to do with these boys, man. I'm going to display them all facing away from me so I can see the beautiful derrieres.
That's the thing that kind of sucks about the modern the Horus Heresy, the 20 Marine box set is like none of them are throwing it back. It's like, come on, you're supposed to be RTB01 Beakies. None of you're all throwing it back. Yeah.
At least one. No, at least I am really glad where they have that one pose that I've used a couple times where he's like the pose is more or less just kind of legs spread, facing forward, which I really like that pose. But no, yeah, I'm gonna kitbash the heck out of one of them and make him like all squatty. I might even try and, if I can, kitbash the gun to put like the magazine right at the front, like the old RTB was.
Oh, that was actually something I brought up. I think I forgot which guest it was, but the one thing I really like about the modern Horus Heresy models, like the Beaky Marines, is how spot on, like they actually took the original RTB01 bolter and just updated it. It's still the same design, but it's just updated. Yeah. When I noticed it, I was like, oh my God. Like they even have like the silly little circle extruded thing toward the back of the gun itself. And it was like, okay, whoever did this, you get like 17 gold stars. This is amazing. This is like perfect.
Mm-hmm.
It seems it's nice to see that like there was so much attention given to like the original Rogue Trader era stuff in what they brought out with the Horus Heresy. There are so many like little nice hints and things like modern Hammer kids won't get it, but for us old dudes like looking at it, it's like, wow, these like, wow, hey, I remember that. They took that from that one silly Marine.
Yep.
So yeah, it's nice to see that Games Workshop is still keeping in mind it's where it came from and paying homage to it.
At least a little bit. I don't understand why they won't just like re-release old kits or at least like maybe a modern kit in an old style. I don't know why they don't. It's such a huge market for them, and they just huge not to. At least they did that. It, like a good homage, like that whole those like the new Beakies is what it is a fantastic homage to like. The old
I
style.
do know like a lot of people have been a lot of people I've talked to online. They're all kind of in agreement. Like we all think that like Games Workshop needs to bring out Terminators for 30K that are updates of the original Rogue Trader Terminators.
Ooh,
like have that exact aesthetic,
cool.
but you know, update it, clean it up, bring it out. It's like modern, nice, super clean plastic kits.
The one with those like giant shoulder pads and they just like their heads peeking through like a little.
No,
hole.
not the Saturn armor. I'm talking about like the main. So there was 3 prototypes. The Saturn armor was one of them, and then there was like there was a multi-piece that had a small head, and then there was I think another solid piece. The multi-piece with the small head, that's what they used to go into the Rogue Trader era Terminators, like the ones the ones that I have on my page from like when I started out. Those Terminators are what became, you know, second edition Terminators and then Terminators we have now. But the more pointy shoulder pads, the style bolter, the style power fist, the full chest Aquila. A lot of people really like that aesthetic, and I think like if Games Workshop actually went through and did that,
they would make a killing.
Oh, it would. I think they would look great, and I've been talking about buying a 3D scanner so I can scan in a bunch of my old models and print them infinitely, so that way I have tons of them. But I wanted, after watching Louise's video about 3D modeling when she got back into it, or when she got into it in December when she bought herself a new iPad. I grew up using Lightwave and TrueSpace, primarily Lightwave, through the 90s and the 2000s. And 3D modeling back then was just, God, it was obnoxious. And watching her work in the software that she's working in, which is very similar to what ZBrush and oh bollocks, I can't think of the other program's name. ZBrush and yeah, I'm gonna yell at for this in the comments. But the fact that you can take like a simple object, like you start with a cube or a sphere, and you can actually sculpt it like clay now. And you can have mirror mode turned on, so that way, like let's say you get the shape of a sphere into a head, you start carving the eye, it just mirrors it on the other side of the object. I'm just sitting there going, are you kidding me? Oh my God, it's so easy now. So I want to take some of my old RTB-15 Marines, take all 3 bodies and scan them in, and actually make them into female Marines, like, you know, give them breasts and
oh hell yeah, dude!
And just to drive people nuts, but to have that ability to do that, and just get them like I want to do some Space Marines and like I want to redo the Rogue Trader Terminators so they're modernized, and call them like Space Dudes and Space Gals or Space Chicks or something like that.
Yes. Oh, you know what? Oh my God, you know what I think would be really cool, like a slightly modern update to one of the original Chaos Dreadnoughts, that like crazy one that had like the skull face, or even like the first Dreadnought where they had that like weird kind of face on it. Yeah. Oh, dude, a modern update to those things would be so rad.
Oh, Dreadnoughts back then were so horrible looking.
They're so goofy. No, but the Chaos Dreadnought, that old Chaos Dreadnought.
I actually
I updated. Or also, oh my God, no! One of my favorite lines. The Chaos Renegades, the Chaos Space Marine like Renegades, those are my favorite models by far. And like,
they were so creative back then.
Oh my God, I love those so much. Nightmare Games made a line of some that are very, very similar, and I just bought a bunch of them, and I'm scouring eBay for some cheap Chaos Renegades. Those are my favorite models by far, and I'm about to paint up maybe like a dozen of them.
Yeah, I only ever had a handful of them. I had one that was like, it looked like I had a mushroom skirt on, and it was the rocket launcher one. And I had like one other one. I don't know what happened to it. I think I gave it to one of my best friends. But you were talking about the Chaos Dreadnought. My first guest, Warheezy, I ended up sending him like a whole ton of Old Hammer stuff that I was never going to paint. This was like 6 months ago. But I sent him my old Chaos Dreadnought, and he's like, dude, I can't believe you sent me this. This is going to be awesome.
Nice. I love that thing.
I had that thing since I was like 12 or 13 years old. I got it from Hobbytown for like, it was on clearance for like $1.
Oh man.
Yeah. I
just found a guy who's I think he's either recasting or he like did his own thing with it, but I found a dude who just released one that looks almost exactly like that old one, and I just bought it up. It's on pre-order. I cannot wait to paint that thing.
It's so cool to see like a lot of these guys doing updating old models, like doing their own custom versions of them, but like keeping the original aesthetic, keeping the original feel, but updating them to like modern Hammer stuff, including the size. And there's one guy I follow on Instagram. I forgot his name, but he's been doing STL files, like updated Rogue Trader stuff for quite a while now, and like they're just so cool. He redesigned the original.
I might have seen it. I don't remember his name.
Yeah,
either.
he redesigned the original Mark 6 Beaky armor, the first official Space Marine. Yeah. And the way he did it was it was actually better than Games Workshop, like when they released their updated version. And he's actually got a whole line of them with those like weird looking. There wasn't even a term for that gun, but he did like 5 different sculpts. And they're just all super cool looking. And then you like the Chaos Renegades. He did like 4 or 5 Renegades that are updated from Rogue Trader era. So yeah, just super cool to see all this going on.
Because I don't have a 3D printer. As soon as I can get some of those STL files and maybe send them to a buddy or something, I'm all over it.
Yeah, I know a ton of people here in Vegas, or like in Vegas, and my buddy in Colorado. I know plenty of people with 3D printers, so I don't need to buy one. The 3D scanner is going to be the most expensive part of it. I think it's like the one I was looking at is like $3,000, but I want that resolution. And like I said, I want to get back into modeling so I can take the scan miniature in and actually clean it up and possibly like tweak a few things here and there that they were just from the original metal or from the original sculpting was just didn't turn out right. But yeah, I painted up numerous resin models now. It's just so cool to see like the creativity and what people are doing.
Yeah.
Like there's
I bought like a Terminator, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator. I bought one of those Terminators. I picked up a RoboCop. I picked up, it's from this anime I painted up. It's called the Guyver.
Oh yeah, I know what Guyver is.
Yeah, I painted up a little Guyver. Love that dude. All just like these 3D prints. I'm about to pick up the Alien from Independence Day. I just thought that was
nice.
such a cool design. I'm about to paint up one of those. Also, I'm trying to pick up a Hydralisk from StarCraft.
Oh, nice. God, I haven't played StarCraft 2 in forever. I miss that game. I'm so depressed that they're like we'll probably never get a StarCraft 3.
No, dude, the original StarCraft is free to download. Just get it and just bask in that.
Oh, I've still got my original install CD from the first one.
No, you don't.
Yep. It's in my
That's awesome.
I have an old computer hardware and software box on my closet. It's in there somewhere.
Say, good luck getting that thing to run.
Oh, you can run it on DOSBox.
Oh, okay. Rad. No, I like last year. Online on their website, you can just download the original game for free.
Oh wow. Well, yeah. I liked how this is kind of going off topic, and I'm gonna get into the next portion after this. Is I liked how in StarCraft 2, one of the upgrade packs that they gave out was the StarCraft 1 music.
Oh, that's awesome.
I turned that back on real fast. I'm like, oh yeah, this is awesome.
Brings you back, doesn't it?
Okay, so I think this actually would be a perfect question for you since you seem well versed with old Hammer versus new Hammer. What do you think about Grim Bright versus Grim Dark painting?
Oh, they both very much have their place, and like I myself, I like to do both. I only painted a couple models in like the Grimdark style, and I really, really like it. I honestly find Grimdark to be easier to paint because the way I do the more Grimbright style, which the way I see it is the kind of the more toyetic style, it's very precise. It's largely on like, say you have like a Space Marine, so you have very clean lines, very defined shapes and things like that. And with Grimdark, you can kind of just go balls to the wall, man. Throw blood on it, throw dirt on it, put skulls everywhere. So much fun. And throw oil washes on it, and it will look gorgeous. So they both definitely have their place, and I love both of them kind of equally. But kind of whatever like floats your boat. Like I love seeing like a shiny, bright blue, pristine Space Marine just as much as I like a Black Templar who looks like he's just been trudging through dirt and blood for like 1,000 years. They both really tickle my fancy.
Now, I think my reference to grimdark is not necessarily like I mean, there's the grimdark painting style. I think mine is more referencing like modern heavy metal style, where like we mentioned earlier, you mentioned earlier in the show, and we talked about it a little bit, was like the 90s painting style, the grim bright stuff from heavy metal, versus like really bright, bold, vivid colors, versus now where it seems like a lot of the stuff that the Games Workshop does, like Blood Angels, Ultramarines, even Space Wolves, it's very much more like a realistic tonality in the way the armor is painted. So like, what do you think like of that bright cartoony style versus now like the more realistic style of like what heavy metal's doing?
I definitely think like if that's like your painting style, or that's the aesthetic you like, run with it. I'm not a huge fan, because I don't know, at least I feel like it just kind of looks a little too manicured. It is cool. It is very, very cool, don't get me wrong, but like I feel like it looks too manicured. It lost a little bit of the passion behind it, as far as just the stuff that GW is kind of putting out. But it very much has its place. It is really cool, but I don't know. I personally gravitate towards either like kind of really bright and a little goofy, or if I'm going to go and like do like a more grimdark or more realistic kind of style, I like really lean into it. Because I'm not a huge fan, at least in my own painting, making things look really realistic. I just want them to look cool.
Yeah. I think that's a big part of it. And this is like a topic that keeps getting brought up with my guests is, there's no right way to paint what you're painting. Like there's what you're painting is, like it's open for interpretation. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do the perfect, like, light shining down from directly overhead or from an offset. You can just get really creative, and it's up to the painter to really present what looks interesting, what looks fun. It doesn't have to be realistic. It doesn't have to be, like this is the exact light source. It has to be no, like
it's funny. So something you really touched on is that I've seen a lot of painting tutorials. Is that people will talk a lot about like what you're painting. It's almost like you're not necessarily painting color. You're painting light. You're trying to paint like where the light source is. And that's not really what I do. Like if I'm edge highlighting, I'm edge highlighting because I want that shape to pop, not because I want it to look like there's a light shining on it. And if I'm highlighting the face and making sure the face is very detailed, I'm doing it because I want you to look at it, not because that's where I think the light source is. So they're both kind of like important avenues that essentially do similar things, but I'm not trying to do it for realism. I'm trying to do it just because I know that's where your eye goes to. So like on a model, you kind of have like maybe like 2 or 3 main focal points. You have the face and like the gun or something, and maybe like the chest or something like that. Because that's just kind of where the eye goes to. I've even to try and get through models a bit quicker, like I don't really do much like on the back of them anymore. Like I was at first, I was painting, literally edge highlighting every single nook and cranny. And now that I've been painting a little longer and I want to kind of get projects done, just focusing like, front and center. Where does your eye go to? What's the focal point? Like I want to make sure the gun looks cool, make sure the sword looks cool, make sure the face looks cool, make sure the base has a little bit of detail, or, just put some sand, goblin green, and dry brush it yellow, and it still looks fantastic.
Okay, so with that said, let's actually let's jump into your Instagram feed.
Yeah.
And I will pull that up because I would really like to discuss your models. So this is your Instagram feed. Let me pull up the interact window so I can see what I'm doing. Okay, this is actually one of the first things that stood out to me was this. And I think this is a good definition of what you're talking about, kit bashing like toy stuff with Warhammer stuff. And actually that's a BattleTech base.
Yeah, it is. BattleTech legs.
And that BattleTech base, that's metal, isn't it?
No, it's a newer one. I do have some metal ones, but no, that's a newer BattleTech menu right there.
So you combine like a skull and butterfly wings with BattleTech stuff.
Yep. Yeah, it's funny. I was inspired by this account, Gardens of Hecate, because their aesthetic is very similar to this. It's almost like a whimsical grimdark style, and I was very inspired by their work. and I had a bunch of like kind of the skull is from the dollar store.
Oh, nice.
Like, little pack of skulls.
There you go.
The wing is just from like a random toy. It's literally just like there's a 3D. The guns are 3D printed from this I think Station Forge dreadnought that I had, and literally just smashing junk together because like their work just inspired me. It was like, oh man, like just some like demonic robot fairy just sounds wonderful. Let's do it.
I like how you got the turquoise going on in the metallics to make it look like, you know, like bronze kind of, or copper doing what it does when it weathers.
Yeah, a little verdigris in there.
Yeah, that's really cool. And one major one I wanted to bring up for Old Hammer people, I really like your modern take on the original Static Marine. This is super cool.
Yeah, no, I love those old poses of just like standing or is at ease or like at attention. I just think it's so cool, and it's absolutely, what's pretty obvious, an homage to that like old 90s monopose Space Marine. I was like, all right, I'm gonna do a Blood Angel, but I'm gonna like really pay homage to that old style. And thank God that the new Heresy sculpts have that the legs splayed out in a pretty neutral pose, and with the fat bolter rifle.
Oh, there's a
good little lineup of them. Yeah, I got some of the old and some of the new. Yeah, these two here, it's the old style poses with modern parts. Oh, it's been so much fun kit bashing them and doing things like that, and make sure I stay true to like the kind of the old painting style with like pretty clean lines, vibrant colors.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just so fun to look at.
The one thing I want to ask about this model, like for the arms, did you actually have to convert those arms to get it just like perfectly across the body?
Oh no, I did. I even had to cut the bolter off of his hand, like with surgical precision, because so that like the gun would be facing the right way, or else it'd be pointing out too much.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of converting. I had to like the inside where the arm touches the torso had to be converted, and as well as I had to literally take off the gun and then re-glue it on to get it to fit right.
No, I think with this guy, you like, and also your other static pose Marine, I think you absolutely nail the grim bright painting style with this. If this were 30 years ago, I mean, this guy would be, like the definition of what you got out of the box set, along with, like a missile launcher and a captain. And it's just, I mean, it's like, it's spot on to that era of painting. And just
appreciate it, man. I'm just so inspired by that old style. I think the bombastic, garish colors are just so much fun.
And just to go a little bit deeper into this, for people who are curious, what colors did you actually use for the red on his armor? Or do you remember?
For this red, I used the Warpaints Fanatic Red and highlighted with using strictly the AK 3rd Gen Deep Yellow and Deep Orange, because it's a lot more vibrant than the Warpaints. So the red was really nice, but highlighted with the AK. But it was just a Warpaints Fanatic Pure Red, which turned out really nice. And some nice lighting made it really pop.
Okay. Curious enough, like it's actually turning into one of my favorite colors. Have you tried AK or Vallejo's Ice Yellow?
Oh my God, I'm using it. I'm using Warpaint's Ice Yellow, and
okay.
I'm using it on everything now.
I keep forgetting they have that. My gal bought their 50 color box set, and it came with Ice Yellow in it. Yeah,
it's almost like if you're trying to lighten a color up a little bit, it lightens it up without desaturating the color, and it's wonderful.
Yeah, it's funny how like certain colors just like you get into using them and they just become like god tier colors in your selection.
Yeah, no, that's how it's maybe a little hard to see, but that's how I highlighted the yellow on here, because the yellow I used from AK Deep Yellow, it's so yellow it's almost highlighter yellow.
Yeah, that
to highlight it, it's like, how are you gonna do that? I didn't want to use pure white, so I used a little mixed. I'd say maybe like 75% of the AK yellow and 25% ice yellow to get the highlights.
I have a suggestion for you that it's one color you might want to pick up. I use it with all my yellows now, and it's like I start with I have the Pro Acryl version of this yellow, but I'm trying to like run out my Citadel version. Is a Citadel Aerial Yellow. I like base coat with that, and then I highlight up to pure Pro Acryl Bright Ivory.
Ooh.
And yeah, go buy some bright ivory and try highlighting your yellows with it, because you can go up to like just the pure color is like the final highlight, and it doesn't look out of place at all. It creates just this really, really bold, bright highlight going from Arial, because Arial's got it's like a yellow orange almost. And that bright ivory works so well with it because the ivory, it has, it's got a cream in it. So you're not using pure white. You're actually using just something that's like like almost like a really, in old terms, like bleached bone. And you can you can just go completely from Arial all the way up to bright ivory, and the final bright ivory highlight just looks perfect with the yellow because it's just got that warmth to it that the original yellow has.
Yeah, no, a nice warm white. I love that. And also, I've tried experimenting with like maybe just some different whites. Like for like bone, I like highlighting. I mix my own. I like highlighting with a cold white. So I'll actually use for highlighting some bone, sometimes I'll use Wolf Gray from Warpaint Fanatic, which is a great gray for Space Wolves. It's a great kind of like a colder value of white. It's really nice.
I'll definitely have to check that color out. I've never actually tried a cold white with that, so that's actually a really interesting idea.
I kind of use it a little bit with the white Power Ranger Space Marine. I tried to kind of like a cold white. Like it's kind of like a blue.
I wanted to ask you about this. This is just so neat. That I love this little guy. This is so cool. What is this?
Oh, it's a miniature from Gardens of Hecate. So the original model didn't have the top horn or the shoulder pads. It was just I forget what it was called. It might be in there. It's like a little space dude. She released this line, and I saw it. I was like, oh man, that looks like an old orc. I was like, I had some Chaos Fantasy bits. I just chopped them up and threw it on there. I was like, oh man, this looks like an old kind of like orc in a spacesuit. Let's do it. Let's just
I saw this. I swear, I was like, is that an orc? That's awesome. I like how orky you made the miniature with all the glyphs all over them.
Very very much inspired by the old orcs.
Yeah, the checkered shoulder pad, and like your paint work on this is absolutely amazing. Like this is just so clean.
Thanks so much.
So like, because you went a little bit brighter with it, like what was your formula for like the red tubing on the chest?
Oh, actually, really similar to what I used last. And this was like some of the first times I really went for it with the highlights, because I feel like before I was a little too scared to like really jump up the lighter values with my highlights. Like a lot of my highlights were like a little more subdued. I was like, you know what, just go from like orange and throw in a little yellow in there. So I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was the same paint recipe as the Space Marine, where I used some AK orange and then a little bit of yellow into it to make it really pop.
And then for the greens, what did you do? Because I mean, like the greens, like on his hands and his helmet, those that bringing it out to that really bright yellow, that's like insanely old school, like Grim Bright Games Workshop stuff.
Yeah, this was just Warpaint's Fanatic. They have a triad that came with the mega set. I'm not sure if it's their like the triad that they have, but they have like a darker green, a really really light green, and one kind of in between. It's funny. I'm just gonna grab them real quick. Oh no, they're not in my paint set. But there's two greens that they have that if you mix them together, you get the base color. The green I have on the base, they make that it looks like a goblin green, like a nice vibrant green.
Well, it looks like the recesses. It actually looks like Warpaint or Angel Green, which is the old Games Workshop Dark Angel Green.
I think that's what I used. I believe is starting with the Angel Green and working up from there with lighter greens.
Okay, yeah, and a lot of the greens that you use are actually they're yellow tinted as opposed to being like an olive or a white.
Yeah,
that's actually one of my favorite things about like the old Grim Bright aesthetic is like not going up using white to highlight green, but actually using like a yellowish.
Yeah,
green.
No, go into yellow. Going into it goes up into more of a yellow. I think I may have mixed in a little bit of yellow just for the brightest highlights. I think I mixed a little bit of yellow into it just to make it pop a little more.
Yeah, that guy.
You don't want to saturate with adding white to it.
Okay, the one bad thing about like this is like it keeps popping back up to the top. Is this supposed to be Skeletor?
I'm very inspired by. If you scroll, you'll see some of the action figures that this was inspired by. Yeah, I think it's the last photo because that color scheme is my favorite. I just absolutely love it so much. Yeah, those two figures right there. It's a newer Transformer and a very, very old 80s Transformer that I just love their garish color schemes. I was like, you know what? I have some. I just kit bashed this from a bunch of parts I had and to make this adorable little dude.
He's like Gundam meets He-Man.
Right? Yeah, little Skeletor, little He-Man, little Gundam.
Actually, I want to bring this up because like Ultramarines are kind of the poster child of Games Workshop, and your representation of this Ultramarine. This is really good.
Oh, thanks, man.
I'm assuming most of the stuff in this is Army Painter as well.
Yes. Actually, the blue is Vallejo's Magic Blue. It's my favorite blue. And the lighting in this doesn't really do it justice because it's a very vibrant blue in person. Magic Blue. I think it's either model color or game color by Vallejo is the main blue for it. And I love it so much. It's such a good blue.
And I like how you did the stripe down the middle of the helmet because beakies go faster. It's because of the racing stripe. Oh yeah, I know exactly what that's from. That's like the no. I'm sorry, no, I don't. That looks like the old Hero Quest like demon that you get in the box.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. Oh my God, no. This style, like you get this style of miniature. The Bloodthirsters look like it. The guy from the Hero Quest model kind of looks like him. This is like some of the old metal demon princes. This is from this is a newer model from Sator Studio.
Oh yeah, it's right there up in the description.
He released it. And I was like, oh my God, this is exactly like the old aesthetic that I absolutely love. I added the gun and a little knife. Oh man, this guy was so much fun to paint. This when I mentioned that was the first time I color blending with this was the horns I was talking about. We're going from red into black. Yeah, first time wet blending on those horns.
Yeah, that looks that just it just screams like 1990s like Citadel or Games Workshop partnering with what was it, Mattel or who did Hero Quest?
I think it was Mattel or I don't think it was Hasbro. I think it was one of those old toy companies.
I know I'm gonna somebody in the comment like you're an idiot. No, it was this. It's like oh, my bad. I can't remember everything all at once. Excuse me.
It's hard when you're on the spot.
There was something else. Oh, I wanted to find the White Ranger that you did. Oh, there's the Guyver right there.
Guyver.
Oh, there we go. There's your White Ranger. That is just so cool. The fact that you were like doing the whole Power Rangers thing. That is just epic, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for those of us who grew up in this era, it's like yes.
No, it was so much fun, like taking like the motifs from the White Ranger and adding it in a creative way and putting it somewhere on the model. Like you can't really see it, but
I like how you copied the pose. That's cool.
Yeah. So like the White Ranger's sword is a little tiger, Saba, and so what I did on his sword, you can't see it in the photos. I added like a little a decal going down the skull of like the little it's a similar kind of it's almost like a plant, like plant vines, kind of a little decal going down his head to make it kind of look like Saba. Just try to get as much as I can from like the little the color, from not just the color scheme, but from the actual design motifs on the Power Ranger armor and putting them on in creative ways, like the shoulder pad. Taking the little decal from an Ultramarine and just putting it in a certain way to kind of like vaguely resemble some of the similar kind of like things you see in the White Ranger. No, it was just so much fun to put this guy together.
Yeah, I mean,
still have the Black Ranger and the Green Ranger to go.
for me as a viewer of your models, like this just hit the nostalgia feels. I was like, that hit right, that hit good. Oh, that's perfect. And all I could think when I saw this was like, dun, 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 dun.
Yep.
Did you see the new Power Rangers movie that came out in the 2010s?
I did.
You did or you didn't? I'm sorry.
I did, sadly.
Dude, the whole movie, I'm like, where is the Power Rangers theme? What? Come on! And then, like, when they bring the Zords out, they re-recorded the Power Rangers theme, like the butt metal theme. I'm like, oh!
There we go. There we go.
And they updated it. And the funny thing is like with metalheads, I've seen memes posted like, oh, this is the original speed metal theme from the Power Rangers. And the whole song is just like this epic butt metal, speed metal jam. And it's just like, okay, now I know where my appreciation for metal music comes from. The Power Rangers theme. And for those that don't know, like if you grew up in our era, like the Power Rangers theme, it's a full 3.5-4 minute song. It's not the 30-second snippet from the intro. And
it's a fantastic song.
Good Lord of the lyrics.
God, those
cheesy.
guitar licks just hit so good.
Oh yeah. I mean, the lyrics are just terrible, but like just overall the song is just like the epitome of like 90s speed metal, heavy metal, butt rock. And it's just like, wow, we were introduced to this as kids. Oh, now I understand why the Zennial generation is so weird.
All right.
Oh, okay. So we're getting into like total kit bash territory, and like, I like this guy. This is cool.
Oh yeah, no. It's what I think it's the Lunar Guard or Solar Guard. So this is, I believe, it's not Station Forge.
Solar Guard infantry sculpted by Red Makers.
There it is. Yeah, Red Makers released this. I just loved the aesthetic of the model, like kind of like steampunky, but also will mess your stuff up.
I like how you kind of gave him the Custodes look.
Oh yeah, a little bit with the gold.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there was a guy I found. I think I follow him. I've seen him all over Facebook, posting in the groups that I'm in. He did I don't want to say like 5 or 7 Custodes, but he went with like Rogue Trader era style, like Inquisitor paint schemes.
Ooh, sick.
To get rid of that I don't like the way Games Workshop painted them, to get rid of the gold and red theme that they had going on. And he just did them like all kinds of wild colors. And dude, they look so much better the way he painted them up. And this totally reminds me of it. Like you didn't use red as the recess color. You went with purple.
Sure.
You got the blue plasma glow coming from his las rifle. You got the cool red lit, visor and his targeting thing. I'm like, I think that looks just absolutely cool as hell. And there was actually one model right next to this I wanted to ask you about. This is, I like that.
That is a bunch of junk I threw together. A bunch of like random stuff I threw together.
No, that totally works. That's just that's cool. The fly wings on the back, and then you got the ammo pack right there. Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, that is so cool. Yeah, I like the skulls because they're like total Dia dos Muertos, the Day of the Dead.
Yeah, Dia de los Muertos.
Yeah, thank you. And like, did you? It reminds me also too of like the Book of Life.
Yeah.
You see the Book of Life / 40K edition. You can just see this guy wandering around the background.
It's funny, yeah. The whole body is meant to be. It's meant to resemble like an old school kaiju from like an old Godzilla movie. And I was like, all right, I'm cutting off his head and putting a pile of skulls on it, and a wizard hat, and a weird machine gun and a sword.
And just because you were talking about it earlier, I definitely wanted to bring up your Guyver. For like those that don't know, Guyver is an old. Back when we were young, Guyver was an old Japanimation before it was ever called anime. Mm-hmm. And Guyver, I remember Guyver being like everywhere, like in like the Dark Horse mangas they bring over, like Ranma Half, the Outlanders, Urusei Yatsura. Guyver, like I think Dark Horse actually printed the comics, but I remember also like in the Japanimation videos I rented, they would like, oh hell, I can't remember who originally brought those over, but Guyver was like always advertised. I think Guyver came up in like the original Bubblegum Crisis.
Oh, Bubblegum Crisis. Oh man, nice name drop.
Oh yeah. Oh, that was actually what got me into Japanimation. Was episode 4 of Bubblegum Crisis, and I remember being a kid, like I was like 10 or 11 years old, and I rented episode 4, and like the girls were changing into their hard suits, and like they were like completely nude, and I'm like, oh my god, they have naked boobies in these cartoons.
No, it's so funny. The Guyver was
in a pornographic way. It was just like they were changing.
Yeah, no, the Guyver was one of the first of the like old school like anime where it's like rated R and it like goes hard. That's like the anime is so gnarly.
And
It's like
I'll
rated
admit,
R
I've actually
Power
never watched.
Rangers
I've never
almost.
watched The Guyver. I need to watch it. I mean, it's only been
There's also
35
two movies
years.
that are both ridiculous. They have two live action movies that are
Oh,
both
really?
equally ridiculous. They're both pretty different. It's no, like, because one of my favorite genres of like movies is like 80s like sci-fi horror, because it's all practical effects. So there's two movies, two live action Guyver movies with all practical effects they're not good movies, but they are so entertaining. So much fun to watch. Oh my god. The second one is a little better, but oh man, they're so much fun.
There was actually I just remember there's one that I specifically wanted to ask you about, because I talked to my buddy Chris on the last episode, or 2 episodes ago, about this. Was your blacklight lit UV lit model. So like when you were doing this, like how did you figure out what would glow and what didn't?
I didn't. It was kind of an accident. I had bought a fluorescent green, and I didn't know it would actually light up under blacklight. And it just kind of happened to work because I just wanted a really vibrant green. I was like, "Oh, fluorescent green will work." And it's not even an official blacklight. It's just some like light my girlfriend gave me that like changes colors, and it made it glow.
Yeah, this was, I saw this. I was digging through your Instagram earlier today to like figure out what I wanted to talk about a little bit with you, and this was just so cool. I didn't realize you had a second picture of it normally lit in here, and yeah, I didn't notice those were stormtroopers.
Yep.
Yeah, they're stormtroopers, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, the whole idea, because I made it for a buddy of mine who likes Star Wars and Alien. I was like, how cool would it be if some stormtroopers encountered an alien? What would happen? Oh,
Yeah,
well, the alien would probably wreck their.
This actually, it really reminds me of like the alien that you built for it. It reminds me of The Thing.
Ooh, love The Thing.
Yeah, you've got like multiple pieces of this like of a creature, and it totally reminds me of The Thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for those younger viewers who don't know,
it's hard to see, but there's a stormtrooper in his hand that he's degloved, and that's his rib cage.
Oh, okay. And for younger viewers who don't know, like you want like one of the best horror movies ever made, John Carpenter's The Thing. Like no CG in that movie. It's all practical effects, and still to this day, every single practical effect holds up completely.
Oh, holds up so well.
Like the creature effects they did in that movie are just insanely good. Mm-hmm. And I don't care how good CG gets, it'll never beat practical effects like that. Like whoever the practical effect manager was in that movie, just wow. But yeah, this as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh my god, that looks so cool. Like I love how like you've got the green blood like reacting to whatever light you've got in here, and like I literally thought this was blacklit.
Yeah, it just happened to work. I guess there's a setting on the little light I had that's a black light.
Yeah, yeah. This is so cool. And there was one other one I wanted to get into with you. Let me go scrolling through this. The one bad thing about OBS with the web browser is every time you click off something in Instagram, it shoots back to the top.
Oh, that's all right.
Oh, that's this. I actually really like this little diorama you have set up with the Oni. Yeah, tell me this isn't Japanese influence without telling me it's Japanese influence.
Oh no, yeah, lots of it. Yeah, they're just hanging out and cooking up s'mores after a long day of beating skulls in.
Oh, this reminds me. Did you ever we were talking about video games earlier? Have you ever played the game called The Messenger?
No, never. I don't even know what
so
that is.
There's it's when you first play the game, it's kind of like Ninja Gaiden, but at midway through the game, it turns into a Metroidvania. And,
no way.
And two of the bosses that you fight, it's the same boss fight. They're both Oni. And there's a level you have to get to
Japanese demons love it.
There's a level you have to get to cross over to the Metroidvania part, and you beat the bosses. You end up becoming friends with them, and one of the Oni actually kicks you to the sky tower in the game. It just basically shatters your pelvis to launch you into the sky. But yeah, if you've got Steam, definitely download The Messenger. Like the entire game, you think it's like Ninja Gaiden starting out, but once you get to the halfway point, it turns into a Metroidvania. And especially at the halfway point, when you talk to the shopkeep is going to talk about your nifty new hat. And then the next time you talk to him, the shopkeep has the nifty new hat. It's the funniest part in the game. So yeah, just if you get it, be prepared for it. I think it's only like $10 now on Steam. It's like an Anubis.
Yeah.
What is this from?
I just found it. I found it on Etsy. I really like the style.
You went down that rabbit hole.
Inspired from The Mummy 2. Because I grew up with that movie, and I always thought those like Anubis. I always wanted like an Anubis action figure. I was like, you know what? I'll just get an Anubis mini.
There was there was an old fighting game. It was a 3D fighting game in the 90s that was Egyptian themed.
Oh, that was probably so rad.
Crap, I can't think of the name of it. It didn't do very well, but like the last boss I think you fought was Anubis.
Nice. Oh, it should have been a giant sphinx or something.
War gods. There we go. War gods.
War god. Oh, nice.
The game was terrible. It was an arcade fighting game. It was like when fighting games. It was like back when that transition from like 2D to 3D, when they were still trying to figure out 3D the right way. It was I think it was actually the Mortal Kombat 4 engine. And that was terrible. Scrolling through your minis. What are those?
Oh, these are actually really interesting. It's from this small Ukrainian company that makes a bunch of really cool minis. I don't know the exact scale, but it's obviously they're very small. I just want to do a cool little diorama of some space dudes just doing some space stuff.
Did you ever finish it?
I haven't painted it yet. I haven't yet because I haven't nailed down what I want. I want to do a very kind of monochromatic scheme on them. So basically, I want to dry brush them with some white and throw some contrast paints on it to give it a very almost look like you're kind of seeing them through a filter, like they're on like Mars or something. So like either everything's red or everything's gonna be like blue or purple or something. I haven't nailed down what I want it to look like yet.
Oh, that'll actually, going back to earlier in the conversation, I think that'll be an awesome challenge. You're talking about working with a limited palette. I think that would actually look epic as hell on this.
Yeah, I know. I want it to be maybe like 2 or 3 colors max.
Okay. Yeah, definitely let me know when you get this done. Like I want to see this finished. I think this is going to turn out really, really cool. And just to pick out one other one from your Instagram, I have no idea what I want to pick out.
If you go to the very bottom is the McFarlane action figure I painted.
Okay, that one?
The very first one.
Ooh, that boy blingy. He bright. Oh, I like the chain you put over the chains you put over the bolter. That's cool.
Yeah, my brother came up with this color scheme. He's like kind of inspired by Tron. So it's basically kind of like a Tron Marine.
Oh no, that's really cool. And this was like kind of the first thing you painted to get you into like 40K. Yeah,
one of the first 40 things. Other than the little Joy Toy helmet, this was pretty much the next Warhammer thing I painted. My brother was like, "Oh, paint me an action figure." I was like, "Yeah, man, let's do it." And he came up with the color scheme.
Did you deassemble him to paint him?
Yeah, I completely took him apart.
Okay, so like in his current state now, is he glued together in that permanent pose?
No, you can pose them up.
Oh,
you
cool.
You can pose them around and whatever. It might scratch off some of the paint, but no, screw it. Have fun.
So with the McFarlane toys, like when you pull them apart, are they just ball jointed?
Most of it, yeah. Most of it was ball joints.
So you can actually you can pop them off fairly easy.
Exactly. So with action figures, if you want to like pop them off and put them back together, you have to heat it up with a hair dryer, and then just pop them, just pull. It's pretty easy to pull apart.
Okay, so we'll go into the newer segment, the ending segment now. This is like the shout out segment. Is there anybody you want to give shout outs to?
Sure. Definitely Lost Planet Games, my LGS in Torrance. They're wonderful, always very welcoming. Every once in a while when I want to paint and I don't want to be alone, I head over there. My girlfriend also lives in Redondo Beach, so whenever I hang out with her, I was like, all right, you're going to do some tours. I'm going to head over to the game store and paint a little bit and talk to some of my fellow nerds.
Does she paint too?
She is does lots of arts and crafts. Yeah, she does do a little bit of painting. She does a lot of different stuff. She loves dabbling in a bunch of different stuff. And yeah, she's the one that got me into painting miniatures.
Oh, very cool.
Indirectly. Shout out to my girlfriend real quick. Also, yeah, shout out to the guys over at Hive Scum Podcast. Bunch of great dirty punks that just really live for the hobby. They inspire me a lot. The first game I ever played, yeah, Flames of Orion. I'm gonna keep playing it. Thank you, Steve. Keep on working on Flames of Orion. Love it. And then yeah, shout out EM4 Miniatures. Make some really cool metal and plastic miniatures that are very affordable. That are super fun. Also, I mentioned Gardens of Hecate a million times, because I'll shout her out too. Very heavily inspired by her work. It's Anna Plancic. The work is absolutely amazing. If you don't know her stuff, check it out. It is so cool. And I've always I don't know, I've made like 5 miniatures just directly inspired by her work. Also, shout out OldGrumpyWolf. Thank you so much for bringing me on and for doing this. Like I was mentioning to you earlier, like I'm very inspired by your own work.
Thank you.
Some of my minis I painted, I was literally directly referencing some of your minis to learn of like, where should I put this highlight? Where should I put this shade?
Yeah, thank you. Absolutely, thank you for coming on. It's an honor to actually bring people on and just to do what we did for the last hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, just nerd out and just have fun with this silly little thing we do in life.
Yeah.
I'm glad that like my miniatures can be like inspiration to people, and also the podcast. As I said earlier, I started this thing just based on just talking to people in the hobby and just people who have fun with what they do, and getting to chat with people about this special little thing in their lives that they don't get to connect with people on a normal basis. So it's an absolute honor to have people like you on the show. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, I appreciate it. Oh, I'll even shout out everyone else who has ADHD, because this, like, I don't know, I've never found anything that I'm really good at, and I've also never found anything until the miniature painting, anything that I can just sit down and do for more than an hour. Like, it's really hard for me to focus on anything. It's hard for me to read. It's hard for me to like watch stuff. It's really hard for me to focus on anything. I can sit down and I can paint for hours. I can kitbash for hours. Like, really being in that like flow state and just being like engulfed in your creativity. I've never really, I used to doodle a little bit, but I never I don't just sit down and doodle for hours. But this, oh my God, it brings me so much joy and so much life, and I love it so much, and I'm not going to stop until I die.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing what painting and being in something like this does for neurodivergent people. Even with my own autism, you mentioned flow, and it's just to sit down, like in my instance, on like the weekends, sit down, like, take like half a gummy and just go for like 6 to 10 hours, like it's nothing.
Yes.
And just like shutting the world out and just like focusing on that one little miniature that we're painting, and not a care in the world. It's just like, no, you just get the focus and flow and just really enjoy yourself. And it's like, this is kind of cool. And it, as you just mentioned, it brings a lot of happiness and a lot of joy.
Yeah.
And, me getting back into this, I've just experienced so much positivity that like simply the car scene where I came from just doesn't have. There's just so much negativity, a lot of like, masochism for people saying nasty things to one another. Whereas this, my guest, the Dork Depot, 2 episodes ago, he's like, you meet these amazing painters in person, and they don't harp on you, they don't down you, they talk to you, and they bring you up to their level and want to share with you and want to encourage you and want to share that positivity. And right, that's been my experience, because I haven't been in the community for very long, and my experience has been nothing but positive. Like, I'll ask someone like, oh, what paint did you use with this? He probably got asked it like 10 times. He still answered me. Or like, I want to steal this idea. They're like, oh man, take it and run with it, man. People have been so sweet and nice. I was worried that like getting on social media might like maybe muddy the hobby a bit for me, but it's been nothing but a positive experience so far. I get to meet wonderful people like you who are just trying to like lift up others. And I absolutely love it, man. The community is wonderful. Like out of the hundreds and hundreds of people I've met, I've only met like maybe 2 or 3 that were just just really negative and really nasty. And it's like, I've got a real thick skin, and it's hard for people to get on my skin.
That's not more accurate.
For me, it's just like, okay, you know what? You go ahead and take your attitude and go sit in the corner. You know, I'm going to be over here with the cool people. Okay, bye.
Right.
And it just seems like, like when, you come out to LVO, I think you're going to have an amazing experience. Just the vast amount of people you get to talk to about the hobby, the nerdy stories you get to tell and share with each other. I think you come out to Vegas for LVO, I think you're going to have an absolute blast. It's going to be a massive experience.
I will. I hope we get to hang out, man. I'm gonna head out there. Hope we get to hang out a little bit. And
yeah, definitely. So I'm going to wrap the show up for the evening. So big thank you for coming on. And you guys want to check out any of my other podcasts or my Blood Angels painting tutorial, here it is. And I'll talk to you guys in a couple weeks. Thank you for watching.